Welcome to Sideline Sessions. My name is Brandon Peachin, the owner of Mountain Lacrosse Network. We're on episode 5 today with Chad Biggs, who is the outgoing president of Treasure Valley Youth Lacrosse League. And without any further ado, let's welcome Mr. Chad Biggs.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Happy to be here.
welcome.
Enjoying the sideline sessions.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
We've been, this is new for us, so we're just trying to get those voices out there that maybe are unseen, unheard. Obviously, put in some of the cool ones that are out in front,
hmm
head coaches and whatnot, but
Yeah.
personalize those stories a little more. I'm not a X and O's person, so I'm not going to talk X and O's, but I do enjoy meeting and talking to the people that are here in the lacrosse community, and I think it's a place where maybe we can shed some more light on those stories. So
Yeah. That's great.
thanks, Chad. You are the outgoing president of Treasure Valley Youth Lacrosse.
hmm
We're one of those families. I have a one of these old Mavericks jerseys. I think
Nice.
this one is one of the last ones my son had as he played Treasure Valley Youth Lacrosse, my son Carter.
Okay.
And then I was trying to find his other ones, and I don't know. You got half dozen of them. So
Got a storage unit you can come and
find which
browse through if
vintage
you'd
one.
like. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Treasure Valley Youth Lacrosse, we've been in the community for 10 years. It's been there way longer than we have.
hmm
And I'm excited to talk to you about it and where it's at today. And also just remind people of how impactful it's been throughout the years and for so many
Great.
players. So why don't you start the show off with telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure.
And I know your marketing day job is what pays
Yes.
the bills.
Yes.
I'd love to also hear how that rolls into just what you do
Sure.
for Treasure Valley Youth Lacrosse.
Sure. So I guess I'll start with kind of where I came in for Treasure Valley
Hmm.
Youth Lacrosse League. My So we actually started 4 years ago in fall. Kind of a full circle moment last week. So we attended a trilax, got nudged
Hmm.
by some friends of ours to try out lacrosse, and I'll jump back to this. But I had friends who played lacrosse growing up and had not thought about it much, and thought, okay, yeah, let's give it a shot. Son really liked it, and so literally across the street from where we had that trilax last week was my son's first IMSLA game.
Hmm.
So he's loved it. It really introduced him into the sport. Set off a path that led me here, which I had no plans on running a youth lacrosse league or
Yeah.
youth
No,
sports
no
league.
one does.
Right, that's kind of how they get you in.
Yeah.
But it's been a fun ride, and I've been on the board for a little over 2 years. They were looking for some additional folks. We live in Boise, so a little bit
Hmm.
more Boise representation is what they were looking for. So dove in as VP, kind of jumped in and tried to learn as much as I could,
Yeah.
different ways to contribute. And there's endless opportunities to volunteer
We're going to talk
and
about
do
it.
things. So yeah. And yeah, my day job, I'm a partner at a local PR and marketing agency called Red Sky, and so the old saying about you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So
Hmm.
a lot of things we'll talk about today, I feel like better awareness of lacrosse is kind of what we're all after to try and grow the game
Yeah,
and grow the sport.
absolutely. And I'm on the same page with you. Let's tell me a little bit about. It's been a minute since I've been in there in that
Yeah.
league, and I
Yes.
apologize for not making it down, but I'll make it
Oh,
down
yeah.
to some games and showcase some players.
You're welcome to.
Treasure Valley Youth Lacrosse. Not only is it where it's basically for most kids the first time they pick up a stick,
Right.
and then so we're looking at developing skills, learning that teamwork, just like any other youth league would, right?
Right.
And then, but we're starting at kindergarten now,
hmm
I think. Maybe
Yep.
back then we only went to maybe fourth grade or something back in the day.
Yes.
So we've got younger players now available.
hmm
And then we also have one of the few leagues where boys and girls
Right.
are have equal opportunity or a steady opportunity throughout. So
Correct.
tell me about some of the things that are those extra features that we're talking about here, or a little more detail about the league and how it
Sure.
operates, please.
Sure. So TVYLL has been around for 19 years, so it'll be 20 years next year, which is pretty amazing. And I know I won't do it all justice in terms of
Sure.
all the people who have contributed over the years. Maggie Williams was part, Greg
Mhm.
Harris 1 year. previous
Yeah.
interviewees was a strong part of that, and grew into other leagues. So we've been fortunate that people took that up and created it, and so that we could get in.
Yep.
So,
You're fine.
we could get in and experience it for ourselves four
Yeah.
years ago, and we obviously want to keep that growing and keep it out there for kids to get that first taste of lacrosse, start
Hmm.
building those skills. And yeah, you're right. We serve primarily K through 6 on the boys' side, and we do have a seventh and eighth option for girls. The girls and the boys divisions
Hmm.
are separate, and we basically do 8U, which is basically kindergarten through second grade. 10U is that third and fourth, 12U, fifth and sixth, and then that seventh and eighth for girls. So, and yeah, it's been built on volunteers, and we
Yeah.
rely on that. And obviously, that gives everybody kind of a taste of the game.
I and I distinctly remember there at the end of the year, end of the season, spring,
Mm-hmm.
day of lacrosse,
Mm-hmm.
big day.
Yes.
Teams
Yes.
from all over the area.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume they're still coming
Mm-hmm.
for this big 3 days, is it? Lacrosse
So
event?
2 days, it was a little bit modified this year because the timing didn't pan
Mhm.
out, so it was a little tougher for external teams to come. But yes, the format is 2 days. We do it like a traditional tournament where there's pool play the first
Yeah,
day, and then kind of narrow it down to winners the bracket the next day. Food trucks, all that good stuff. So it is a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but kids love it, parents love it, and it's just a lot of fun.
absolutely. I remember, man, it's exciting. Look at all
Yeah,
these different teams, these different players, skill sets.
yeah,
How's our team going to do? Some teams come in with a reputation,
for sure, for sure.
that are like,
Yeah.
it's good or bad, but it's just exciting that exposure that weekend brings in
Hmm.
to not only for our players and our kids, but
Yeah.
so they can see how it's played in different areas, right? And
Correct.
parents can also see, our parents can see how our players and teams are doing versus others. So
Right.
it just helps us grow, everyone involved, grow more. And it's so funny talking about how excited I am, thinking back on those days,
Yeah.
how cool it was and where you would end up. I do believe one time we did win our pool.
Hmm.
Maybe we did win the championship. I remember we had a great weekend one year, and everybody was super pumped. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of meaning behind that day, and a lot of work
Yes.
goes into it. So
Yeah, for sure. And it's
absolutely.
and it's great to have all the out of town, like, a couple years ago we had multiple teams from
Hmm.
Oregon. And obviously the eastern half, we get
Yeah.
Sun Valley and Pocatello and a lot of those great teams over there too.
Hmm.
So it's great.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity for everybody to get a little taste of yeah, what lacrosse means in
Sure.
other areas of the states and other states.
Yeah. Uh, for help, I always, because my wife and I were both on the boards,
Hmm.
and if it wasn't one, it was the other. And I want to acknowledge that, your wife, even though you're on there officially, I guarantee, just like every other spouse that's on one of these boards,
Yeah,
is helping in the background
absolutely.
100%. So let's give her a second to get a shout out for all her.
For sure. Yeah, Erica is phenomenal help to
Mhm.
me, particularly when we're, dealing with uniforms and jerseys. That's my logistical brain
Mhm.
doesn't do well with that kind of
Sure.
granularity. But no, she's always there. I also have a daughter who's a senior in high school, and she's been on the yearbook the whole run. So she helps with photography,
Yeah.
and so we use that for
Do you have
promotion and marketing.
Instagram or anything for photos that we need to?
She has Shots by Susanna. It's not
Okay.
very active, but
Okay.
um,
Well, it
but
will
yeah,
be.
we've got some stuff there. But she has a really, I mean, obviously biased dad, but
Sure.
she's very talented. When I've tried to emulate what she does, it does not go well. So
Okay.
she's super
Well,
talented.
that's
So
great.
we're very fortunate there.
Absolutely. And then let's finish out with that, with the extra help with some of the other board members, and
Yeah,
let's talk about that structure a little bit of how Treasure Valley Youth, the board works, so that
sure.
others know maybe where they can come in and help too. So,
Yeah, absolutely. We are always looking for interested folks to join the board.
mhm.
We're kind of transitioning now. You mentioned outgoing president. Sean Tierney is coming in as president. He's been my VP. Just a great guy in a lot of ways. We've co-led this league for the last year, he has a lot of, I think we have a lot of complementary skills where, where there's a gap in my skills, he's very good at delegating. I'm not so much. And he's got a, deep knowledge of the game. So we're very fortunate there. We have boys director, girls director, typical board roles of secretary and treasurer, all vital. Volunteer lead, equipment lead, you think of all that. When I look at the old bylaws that we've had, back in the day, again, we
Hmm.
started like, I believe you're right, with fourth grade and went all the way up through middle school. They had bylaws set aside for multiple boys directors and, a
Hmm.
different size of kids coming
Yeah,
through. And then there's, other opportunities. There's board members at large. We just talked to somebody yesterday about a role there that could be helpful where, if you see an opportunity and there's something that you have a passion about where you feel like you can give
yeah,
back, we're open to have that conversation.
yeah. Uh, when we had Greg Harris on
Yeah,
previous episode, I asked him about, hey, can we bring some folks in and maybe job shadow and just kind of see
yeah,
what it's like and see how maybe their skills fit, or is this something they really want to be a part of? And I would assume Treasure Valley would do the same thing for anybody,
yeah,
even in a non-official manner,
yeah.
just to kind of dip their toe in the water and see what's up.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
my sales pitch, which I failed
let's
failed
hear it.
to do,
I'm going to focus right on you so we can
is
you talk right to
is
the camera and tell
there's a lot you can really earn from being part of the TVYLL board. We give free registrations for your season for a kid,
them. Okay.
and then we go to Wingers every month for our board meeting. So
Yeah.
if I can't interest you with free chicken strips,
Yeah.
once a month, I don't know
Absolutely.
what else there is,
I think that's great.
but no, we're welcome. People are welcome to
Hmm.
join us for a board meeting and get a feel for it. And then, yeah, we actually have right now somebody who is James Ressler is our boys director. Chris Valenzuela, who's helped out in other areas of the board, is kind of shadowing him and learning the ropes for that role.
Okay.
So yeah, we are trying to have a good kind of flow of people
Yeah,
understanding how the board works and
that's great.
where they can contribute.
And depending on your age, like your child,
Hmm.
they're starting at that fourth, fifth, you're going to be there a few years.
Yeah, right.
So why not? Why
Yeah,
not learn a few things
yeah,
and help
exactly.
out? And I always found that you can't complain unless you do something. So not that
That
we're looking for people to
that
complain,
no, but
but we definitely need people to help.
yeah,
And if you see a problem, let's step up and help out. So
that was one of my motivators as well. So
absolutely.
yeah,
And then one of my favorite things was just driving the field.
yeah.
There's something peaceful about it. You throw some headphones on, you get it set up, and then, like I mentioned in a previous episode, like getting that crease or those corners just dialed in, perfect 90s.
Well, you'll be sad because we have we got
Oh no,
we got a paint
replace? Oh, okay.
robot. Just because they're so Boise, we are at Boise, we're at Ann Morrison through
Yeah.
Boise Parks and Rec, and then alternating with Star Metal. Star Metal we paint. Boise Parks and Rec does a lot of the paint
Okay.
for us. So we ended up investing into a paint robot
Okay.
because it was challenging. Star is growing like mad.
Hmm.
Tons of sports happening there. Our window is pretty limited in terms of where we could stripe.
But
And
well, we need a
we
robot operator, don't we?
exactly.
Okay.
So James Jimbo has been our guy. So we have affectionately nicknamed the robot the Jimbot.
Nice.
And it is a sight to behold. I mean, so it's a
Yeah.
different kind of geeking out on
Hmm.
it. That there's that piece, but just seeing that thing just knock that out
A
and
few years ago,
store it away.
there was a tournament, high school tournament in Jerome, maybe, or something. Hager. Anyways, down south there, maybe Hagerman.
Uh-huh.
Robot came out, started knocking those things out. It was pretty impressive. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, and the
It's
accuracy,
oh, it's insane.
you know,
Yeah. It's crazy.
it's great.
Yeah.
Well, what can I say? You can still be there for. You got to reload
You
it. It
can
can't self
we can
reload.
train you up. So I mean,
You
if
never
you want to
know.
go back to the roots and tech it up a little bit.
Um,
Mhm.
you got our history in a little bit about the board. I want to talk about something that educating some parents here.
Sure.
Obviously, we need some help, and those skills can be anything. You don't have to do something that you've never done before. It
Right.
could be something just like yourself, marketing that you do every day.
Hmm.
Uh, like Greg said, he does, he just schedules meeting and gets the right people in the room to just
Yeah.
talk about the issues.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to have the solutions to the problem.
Right.
He just creates the environment to find those.
Hmm.
So it could be anything from inventory, spreadsheets, organization, jersey counts to follow-ups on whatever.
correct. Set up and
Yeah.
tear down,
Yep.
putting the tables out and
Yeah.
scoreboards up, and
Right.
yeah, something as simple as that,
Hmm.
which is kind of to your point. For me, I've done it a lot, and to me, it's kind of peaceful being there before the
Yeah.
rush of people come and setting that up and being at a
Yeah.
park, fairly quiet in the morning. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a ton of different
Yep.
opportunities if you have a logistical mind, helping us out with
Hmm.
coordinating volunteers. Fall's a little different. Spring has, especially with the
Yeah.
tournament, has more opportunities to volunteer. And that's one other thing about our league is,
Hmm.
there's when you pay registration, there's a volunteer fee.
Okay.
And if you donate a certain amount of hours back, you get that fee back at the end of
Oh,
the season.
nice.
So just a way to, if you give back, we give it back to you and
That's
make it a
great.
little bit easier
And
on
that seems to
the
be
wallet.
helpful.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely get people motivated to
Hmm.
help, and it absolutely helps us because if we don't have something for it, it falls on the board, and we're all
Yeah.
committing a lot of time as it is.
And
So
I would assume there's some folks that just give both ways,
yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah. Which is
absolutely.
nice. Not trying to pressure anybody into volunteering and a little extra
No,
dough, but
yeah, and
I guarantee there's folks.
I've reached out to people who are like, I was just going to donate that to the
Yeah.
league. I'm like, well, we just appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And then let me talk about. I want to get back to this question. We're asking three parents everything they uh, three parents that, or sorry, three questions every parent, player, or coach should understand about the league and where
mhm.
it's kind of going as far as help and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah,
But real quick on the fall and spring
hmm,
season,
yeah.
just I think we've already started fall, right?
Not quite. We're
Okay,
a little bit late, so we will start on the 27th of September.
okay.
And then we're going
Registration,
for
right?
registration is still open for the
Okay,
next couple of weeks.
excellent.
We'll be forming teams pretty soon. And fall's a little bit different format. With all the different sports and
Hmm.
commitments happening in fall,
Yeah.
we basically keep it to Saturdays. So there's a practice immediately before the games.
Oh,
So 2 hour basically commitment for people who are new to the sport or just want to keep their sticks in hands and
sure.
those skills going. So yeah, we're in the process of getting all the final details for that, but
Great.
that's the format for fall.
Okay. So sometimes I get too much coffee in me, so you got to bear with me.
Oh,
It's
good.
an early morning
Oh,
interview,
good.
so I jump
Yeah,
around a little.
no worries.
So next thing I kind of want to get on is that question I mentioned, where it's three things you wish every parent, player, or coach would understand about the league.
Hmm.
And I'm okay. We can talk about some hard things.
Sure.
Some, sometimes people just need to hear like this is a significant difficulty for us to move forward.
Yeah,
And then obviously there's some low hanging fruit as far as positives or things that we could do. So
right.
tell me what you think about that. Three
Sure.
things.
First thing is that, we're a developmental league. We're a
Hmm.
rec league. We're open to all skills. So that means we have kids who literally picked up a stick earlier that day, to, kids who have may played at, multiple years, maybe even competitive club side of things, and they're just
Yeah.
trying to keep their skills up. So know that there's a range of skills and that you're welcome, right? Like
Hmm.
you have to start somewhere, and this is where a lot of amazing athletes in the valley have started. So we welcome all, and that means as best we can, we try to balance the team formations with skills, but primarily
Yeah.
geographically, so that kids can start to
Hmm.
play together that go all the way up through high school,
Right.
right? Um, Second thing, and I think we talked a little bit about it already, but we are volunteer reliant driven, however you
Hmm.
want to frame it. Like from myself
Yeah.
to all of our coaches, to people running the table at the
Hmm.
games, like that is vital for who we are. So just know, like I try to respond to emails and
Yeah.
inquiries as quickly as I can, but we all have day jobs and get busy, and
Hmm.
so we're trying to fit in something that we love, which is this league and the
Yeah.
sport, um, and trying to be as responsive. I probably spend more hours on this than I should during the daylight hours,
Well, who doesn't?
but yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
it's all for a good cause. So with that, coaches as well, right? Like they're
Hmm.
volunteering, and we're fortunate to have. We're in a good spot in the sense that we've had lacrosse in the Treasure Valley for long enough to where we have parents who have played.
Yeah.
We have people coming in from other markets who have played. So we have some good talents. There are lax dads like me who end up
Sure.
coaching,
Yeah.
for a season or whatnot, and we do our best, and we have training and tools and resources like other coaches where you can help with that. USA Lacrosse does a really good job too with some of
Hmm.
their apps and um, training opportunities to build up those skills from a coaching perspective. So just knowing that kind of level of grace,
Hmm.
right? We're
Yep.
youth sports. We are, trying to adapt to all these different levels of skills, and we are running on volunteers. Um, the last thing, well, I'll probably do a
Let's do.
bonus
We can
thing.
do more.
Do
We
do
can
a
do as
bonus
many
thing.
as you want. You're in charge
Um,
here. It's your show.
our officials,
Yeah.
they're not going to get everything right, right? Like
No,
I was, just fresh from a game
just
and
like we don't.
yeah, exactly. Didn't agree with every call, and I know those refs. They've been refing for us as well
Yeah.
for multiple years. These guys are
Hmm.
frankly studs. They're on both sides. The
Yep.
girls officials, boys officials. A lot of the boys officials are playing high school
Yeah.
actively now. Some are in college. Some we've had the entirety of the time that I have been on the board. So we're very fortunate to have them. It's not like they are just randomly signed up for a job and they have no experience in
Yeah.
lacrosse. Like they know ball.
Yeah.
So I just want to reinforce that. On the girls' side, we have a mix. We have some folks who've been there for a while, but
Hmm.
they absolutely know it well, and are super talented. And we're very fortunate to have both of our officiating organizations.
Yep.
So I send a note out usually at least once a season,
Yeah.
treating them with respect, right?
Yep.
Because we need them. And even
Absolutely.
I don't agree with every call,
Right. Right.
but that's life.
And if I could, on top of that, there's a couple things that you can do as a parent to like learn the game.
Yes.
And
Yep.
one of those, that table, learning how to be at the table.
Yeah, absolutely.
For one, if you're the kind of person that doesn't like the crowd,
Hmm.
right? For whatever reason, the table is an incredible space
It is.
where you can hear the coaches, you can hear the players, both sides,
Hmm.
you can hear the referees, the actual calls,
Yes.
and then like what stats there is, what the penalties mean. It's such an educational opportunity, and it's
Yeah,
not only just writing them down, but like being there at the call, out numbers and watch the game, and you make some friends that you probably wouldn't have made before just
absolutely.
because you're working together. That table is a team,
Hmm.
independent
Hmm.
of what's happening on the field, and they check each other's books and their stats and work
Right.
together to make sure things are as accurate as possible.
Right. That's a great call out.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time at those
Hmm.
tables, not trying to avoid the crowds
Yeah.
necessarily, but to me, it's the best seat in the house.
Yep.
If you're not coaching or playing, you are hearing all of it. You're hearing the coaches. As to your point, you're hearing the refs. We, through ILOA, have a kind of head official who
Hmm.
helps train up at least for the first half of the season. So you kind of hear
Yeah.
him, and he's got all the knowledge in the world about USA Lacrosse rules. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, you get exposure to it and you get to learn and see the
Hmm.
game. And that's another piece, just to know about our league is really to try to brush up on the game itself. It's a beautiful game. It is,
Yep.
I mean, there are components and pieces that you can see translating hockey, basketball,
Yeah.
you name it, right? But there are some nuances. There are some elements that
Yeah.
are unlike anything else that take a little bit of while to understand. So USA Lacrosse is a
Hmm.
great resource to look
Yep.
at. YouTube has a bunch of different training
Yeah.
videos. College lacrosse, PLL, if you can see that. I mean, obviously there are different flavors, and we're the ball's going to be on the ground in our league a heck of a lot
Well,
more than
yeah.
those.
I mean, yes.
But that's a great way to learn, and that's also a great way for your
Hmm.
son or daughter to understand the
Yeah.
game as well.
And then, so I've reached out to the refs, to ILOA.
Great,
They're kind of restructuring right now, but I'm super pumped to have them on.
good.
Um, I guess I didn't know there was two separate official groups, so I'll reach out to the other one and make sure
Yeah,
they get out here and talk about things.
yeah.
But I know they've started a junior ref association,
Hmm.
which is new for us for some reason. But hockey's been doing it, soccer's been doing it
Right.
for years. And like you mentioned, my son has done it for extra cash during the years,
Yeah.
but they're learning too. And then a lot of times at this youth level that I think people don't really understand is that there is so much that could be called, you
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
like if we called everything.
Yeah.
If we call everything, no one would ever play.
Yeah.
So there's a certain amount of grace, like you say, that needs to happen, not only for the giving the referee some room to breathe here,
Hmm.
but also the game would start and stop so often, no one would develop
Exactly.
because it's just, they're just not ready. It's not the same flow yet
Yeah.
because the
Right.
skills aren't there. So
Right.
I think some folks get lost in that nuance of the game. And then same for the junior referees, right? They're just
Totally.
trying to keep players safe.
Yeah.
At the same time, did it impede the action or what was the intent,
Hmm.
right? When things go wrong.
Right.
So there is that gray area that comes into this game at all levels. So it's
Right.
there are some things that are black and white, but not everything purpose, right? Why are we here?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they do a good job of, and sometimes the coaches remind them, but
Hmm.
telling the kids why
Right.
something was called.
Yeah.
And so we do have at 8U coaches, God bless them, they are both coaches and refs.
Okay.
So they are also teaching the kids as they go too, right?
Yeah.
So that's critical. But yeah, to your point, even think about the size differential, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's not, we're not in full on puberty for some,
Sure.
but they're still, kids who might be a head or a half a head taller than
Yeah.
another.
Mm.
And so where
Yeah.
their stick naturally goes is going to be a little bit higher on
Yeah.
another kid. So you certainly want safety first and
Hmm.
foremost, and the junior officials, all of our officials do a good job focusing on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is kind of tough for them to balance and knowing intent, right?
Yeah.
Like you can kind of tell sometimes if there's a retaliatory thing
Yeah.
happening, and we
Right.
don't have a lot of that, thankfully. But
Yep.
yeah, they have a tough job. It's not easy
It's
by any
not
stretch.
easy, and
And
it
any
is so
parent who wants
different.
to go out
Yeah.
there and ref in their stead,
Well, and then we welcome
you
them
know
to,
where
right?
you'll
And
be.
this youth league is a great
Yeah,
opportunity to
yeah,
get the
yeah.
skills up
Right.
and learn the game. And it is different on the turf or on the grass. Like
Oh
the
yeah.
angles are different. You can't see things.
Yeah,
The ball movement, it's so fast. Even
it is.
the younger kids, I mean, that thing's,
It is.
especially when you get into, moving up the levels, it moves quick.
It does.
And you got to learn to,
Mm,
eventually you learn to anticipate the movement of the game.
correct.
That takes development as well. So,
But I mean, I didn't play, so
right. Me neither.
yeah, but
Yeah.
just learning how to cradle, right? That
Hmm.
basic thing to know how to cradle is then where you can maneuver.
Sure.
Like that's tough. That's not easy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if your kid is not getting it right off the gate, that's natural,
Yeah.
right? You just need to practice. Wall ball is always
Sure.
a good tool
Yeah.
to have.
So you had a bonus one for here for the
It was
three
really
things.
it was really about learning the game, so I think
Yeah.
we kind of covered
Okay.
that a little bit. And the table is a perfect example
Well,
of ways to understand the
hmm.
nuance. And listen to your coaches, and if
Yeah.
they've got homework, or you can always ask our coaches like what can
Hmm.
they be doing at home. Wall ball will be, I guarantee you, 90% of an answer, but there are videos you can kind of learn
Yeah.
the basics.
And I coached a lot of youth over the years in different sports, football and whatnot. And there's not enough time for complete development at
Yeah,
practice.
yeah.
You got to get some reps. And I found that we had busy schedules with sports and life. That half an hour that where I bought an extra stick,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it was, I think I got the first one to play against sports for myself.
Yeah.
And so $35 to be able to have 30 minutes out front, throwing a ball back and forth with the kid,
Mm-hmm.
my son. We still do that today. So over the last
Awesome.
10 years, like, it's just something we can do.
Yeah.
We get the football out once in a while too, just to mix it up, but then we can just talk about the day.
Yeah.
And both of us
Absolutely.
can have a minute to calm down or just refocus, reset, just to have some time together. So,
Yeah.
and those are reps,
Mm-hmm.
right? That point, because I know when I started, it was terrible, terrible throwing the ball.
Yes.
So he
Yes.
was dealing with
So did
junkie
you have your
everywhere.
son tell you about that he taught you everything you've ever learned
Oh,
about
yes,
lacrosse? Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
There's no way that I could,
Yeah.
and the knowledge that he has, I can't keep up.
Yeah.
I try to be nice and
Yeah.
I'm so excited for him, but the nuances of the game that he now knows,
Yeah.
I'm not there. I'm trying,
Yeah.
but
It's
yeah,
fun being a
no,
fan, but
he's the
yeah,
reason
until
I'm
you're
here
playing
today
it.
for sure.
Yeah.
And so, okay, short-term goals. So why you maybe let's talk about when you started with Treasure
Sure.
Valley.
Sure.
Maybe you had some goals or noticed some things that you wanted to help fix or
Yeah.
some nuances there. And then as you're leaving or phasing out,
Mm-hmm.
if you left a couple behind that you're hoping to see,
Mm-hmm.
and then some long-term goals maybe for the league in general.
Sure. Sure. Um, So I certainly didn't come on to where it was, a great big fix. Like there
Hmm.
was good momentum happening, and we really wanted to build on that momentum. Where I saw opportunities is kind of, more of a bandwidth challenge, right?
Yeah.
There's just not enough hours in the day. So again, my day job leaning into just trying to communicate with parents as best as I can, as quickly as I can. I'm sure I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
But I think knowing parents are being heard and that that we're providing
Yeah.
them good information that they can develop their kids with and act on and make a decision whether they're going to be around for
Hmm.
this season or if they need to wait till spring, whatever, like that. um, Sharing a love of the game, just trying to connect the dots. And I mentioned, very thankful for
Yeah.
what everything that you are doing,
You're welcome. Of course.
from streaming to social
Yeah.
and connecting the dots with, you know, one of my favorite things this past spring was not on the field. It was seeing where these kids were going to go next, that a lot of the seniors who are graduating,
Yeah.
and then seeing the parents or the high schools put out, the picture packages with TVYLL. So I grabbed as many of those, re-pushed those out,
Yeah.
hit up a couple parents that I knew with graduating seniors, got their TVYLL pictures because we're not going to claim that, that we built them into who they are today. They
Yeah.
worked hard, and there are many coaches and influences, from TVYLL that have made them the players that they are today,
Absolutely.
but they started
They're
here,
part of the journey.
right?
Yeah.
And that's so it's so vital that
Hmm.
we're here, and that they started here, and so it's really trying to help connect the dots. Even Gannon Matthews, when he
Yeah.
got to the PLL, that was super exciting
It's
for
huge.
me, right?
Hmm.
So I reached out to him, tried to get some news stories about him out there, just for the love of the game and to get it out there, to get the awareness out
Yeah.
about how amazing that is. An Idaho kid finally,
Yep.
hit that league. But we have enough talent here. We got enough
Yeah.
talent with coaches and kids coming through that we can do that, and let's just build on that. So it's really kind of that was a short-term goal, was just trying to make sure that we are more connected. And there's just some relationships that I think that had the opportunity to be strengthened between leagues, between all of our different partners that make this league possible, in lacrosse possible in Idaho.
Yeah.
So we focused on that, trying to get more time with IMSLA and
Hmm.
getting to know Greg a little bit.
Yeah.
We had TVYL kids doing the balls,
Yeah.
for the championship
Which is great.
games, making those connections so that people see that,
Yeah.
you may start at TVYL, your future's limitless with this sport. You can
Absolutely.
really you can
But
go wherever you
yeah,
need to go.
Gannon's the first, but he won't be the last.
Right,
You know. And
right.
there's another one waiting
Yes,
that's coming up. That's going to be there. And now with the WLL,
yes,
there's some of these young gals that
yeah,
they can be the first,
right,
and then they won't be the last. So
right,
it's an exciting time for sure. And there's more and more of our players, sons and daughters, that are moving on to bigger and better,
right.
and quite frankly, like all throughout. Right?
Hmm.
It's a success if you just keep playing. So.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's exciting to see there's more and more coming out of here. And at some point, like they're going to be like Portland, who,
yeah,
as far
exactly.
as lacrosse goes,
Yeah,
we're going to get them.
yeah. They've got the spotlight right now,
Hmm.
but we'll get there.
Yeah.
The other thing, I mean, obviously, we want to grow the game. We
Yep.
want to make sure that, whoever wants to play has that access.
Yeah.
So, we've been, since COVID, we kind of built out and then plateaued a little bit on numbers, but I think we're in the right spot and starting to grow incrementally and
Yeah.
smartly. We had a couple of additional townships at the boys' side join the league in
Okay.
12U for spring, so that brought more kids in. And frankly, I think you talk about the good and the bad, and I don't want to call it bad, but
Yeah.
we're also challenged with coaches, right?
Yeah.
Like getting enough coaches, and I get it. I mean, I was around. I've coached for one season, so clearly an expert.
Hmm.
But we, it's tough even when you feel like you know the game and been around the
Yeah.
game to feel like you can impart that knowledge of the game when you didn't play, right? But you can, and this is the actual opportunity to do it,
Hmm.
right?
I
Is this
agree.
age group, right?
Yep.
You can teach them the fundamentals, and that's really what this is about. So, but even spring, like we kind of had to almost slow down a little bit on the registrations because we were starting to struggle with having some coaches in place for
Okay.
the number of teams. So always looking for coaches,
Yeah.
always looking for people to help out in any
Mhm.
way, shape, or form that they can
If I
help.
if I could circle back a little bit on that coaching deal as far as
Sure.
help,
Yeah.
we have a lot of younger players that are coming back home after
Right.
finishing their careers,
Right.
and they might have the skills and the knowledge to share. Uh, and since they're new in their coaching careers, they might not be ready for the full amount of what we perceive a head coach to be.
Right.
And that's one way you can help. Once again, is maybe the coach needs some help with the logistics, right?
Yeah.
Checking on the players, getting them, helping get them registered, or follow up emails, those kind of things that maybe they're not uh, skilled enough yet at,
Hmm.
but you can be a mentor to that coach to help develop those for later,
Yeah.
just like he's trying to do on the field with the kids. So
Yeah.
the logistics portion to help free up some of these new coaches or people coming into our community, so it's
Hmm.
not just so overwhelming at
Yeah.
once,
Yeah.
could absolutely make a difference
Yeah.
in helping those folks. And then, you know, we could say, hey, listen, we need some coaches. We got some great family members on these teams that are going to help with a lot of this work for you.
Hmm.
So you can focus on making sure the X's and O's are being developed and those kind of things, along with finding your voice as a leader,
Yeah.
So
Yep.
once again, about thinking outside the box, how people can help all the way around here.
Absolutely.
And I mean, you're going to be there anyways. As a
Yeah.
parent, right? You're going to show up.
Hmm.
Why not help?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It started with me just
yeah.
being a team manager, helping,
Hmm.
just doing the little things of breaking down the
Yeah.
goal and carrying that back for the coach because those things are,
Yeah.
those
Absolutely.
things.
Yeah.
So yeah, helping out wherever we can. And then we even have on the girls side, we've got some younger women who are looking to coach, who aren't, who'll be coaching with their parents.
Okay.
But they're really the experts, right?
Yeah.
The parents are kind
Exactly
of
what we're talking about.
backstopping.
Yeah. Hmm.
So yeah, so that is absolutely an opportunity with us.
Okay.
Anything we can, we're open to figuring out ways for kids to contribute and young adults.
Yeah.
And we've got, we've had some college kids over the years, and
Mhm.
so very fortunate in that regard.
Great.
But always looking for more.
Yeah. So we had some short-term
Hmm.
goals, and then what's one that maybe you've been working on for the future that's a long-term, or maybe Treasure Valley
Sure,
has in general.
sure. Yeah, I'd say I was actually pretty happy, and I think it's an interesting spot where we're at. And I think we've talked about townships as a league.
Hmm.
I've gone back to minutes that were of board meetings that were
Yeah.
long before me, talking about townships, and we've had, Timberline kind of part of the league
Yeah.
at different points. BK and Emmett actually came in this past spring. There are others kind of talking about it and who've
Hmm.
reached out to me about doing that. Um, and I think, you look at the East Coast, you look at the bigger markets where lacrosse is really like, you have the full
Yeah.
package, like Salt Lake City, Denver,
Hmm.
where, they've got the D1 school there, they've got um, box, they've got, great leagues
Yeah.
where, there are townships all built in, and,
Hmm.
and really the league is more of a hub of scheduling and getting officials and having facilities,
Yeah.
etc. Um, if I could wish for anything, it would be that for us to grow to that level. Part of that is, I know you have another question
No,
down the
that's
line
fine.
maybe, but um, part of
Yeah.
that is investment, right? Is having some people who love lacrosse and have some resources to invest into the community. That's really how Salt Lake City, I think, kind of started to blow up, and now they've got PLL and everything else. So it's kind of a self-contained ecosystem that starts, and I think we have a lot of people who love the sport, a lot of people who've given a lot of time and
Hmm.
heart and effort that we've talked about already.
Yeah.
Um, but just having that kind of extra oomph,
Hmm.
that investment that can make bigger, greater things happen. Because I think at some point, we can't all be volunteers pushing this
No.
boulder up the hill. Like we need organizations
And
that
full
are
time.
self-sustaining, that
Hmm.
can lead the
Yeah.
charge.
And I would imagine you would see that as a public-private partnerships,
Yeah,
whether it's City of Boise, City of Meridian,
right.
investing in a space that has a designated just
Yeah,
like they do for baseball, softball,
right.
mostly soccer.
Yeah,
Uh,
if I had a
yeah,
wish that was
we got a
granted, yeah.
magic wand
So
question for you. Yeah.
so obviously the
Hmm.
first one, if I was going big, it would be to have that kind of investor or
Hmm.
group or entity that, you know, gives us the cash flow to build something great. But one of the first things that I would love for us to do, and I asked others and kind of
Yeah.
looked other people's brains on this, just having a year-round facility. Like we have a great partner in Boise Parks and Rec, Star
Hmm.
Metal. You know, we're even kind of figuring out fall because they
Yeah.
have construction going on there. So it is hard to get field space, and it seems like um,
Yeah.
if we were to have a highly visible year-round facility
Hmm.
where we could have not just field lacrosse but box lacrosse and have a destination for I mean for all levels of lacrosse, that would be such a difference maker in this community.
I agree. And it's so funny that when we've traveled,
Hmm.
my family, or when I've traveled with, say, like the Bighorns and things,
Yeah,
how many obscure communities have something like that? It doesn't
right.
have to be this monster million people in the city.
Yeah,
That space can be a lot of repurposed warehouses or whatever, right? That just
totally.
gets committed to
Yeah,
this kind of sport, and that is something easily that could be chased after,
yeah,
like a volunteer committee that gets together from these different groups and say, okay, well, it's time to sit down and let's see what we can really do, and
totally.
then get the plan. Let's just make the plan first,
Yeah.
because it seems like such a giant lift, and we're asking for a check of sorts, but we're not.
Hmm.
No one's going to give us a check unless we have a reason why they should give us a check.
Right.
And I think that's where the work could probably be started more today,
Hmm.
formally,
Hmm.
because I know when I talk about it, everybody is behind it,
Yes.
but yet there doesn't, and I haven't found them. And I'm happy to talk to whoever it is that's going forward. I actually met a group. I don't call myself a liar right now. Met the folks that are trying to do it in CUNA,
Gotcha.
and I love everything about it. The timeline is going to be longer, I think, my opinion, than maybe what we think.
Hmm.
And then the number is pretty substantial,
Yeah.
$90 million. So,
Yeah.
and for us as cross community to get that indoor section as of today is the last phase. So,
Yeah.
that's going to take some time. So, what can we do today to work towards maybe a sooner tomorrow? Finding that, repurposing that space somewhere and starting there,
Yeah.
or repurposing a field. That can be more like a place where we go for events.
Right.
That's home. So I agree with you, but I
I
think,
think you
yeah,
like example you
yeah,
having a conversation with the gentleman Cuna.
hmm,
Obviously the semi-pro soccer that's going
right,
in, by the fairgrounds is one that's talked about it. I don't know that I
yeah,
know that I haven't had a conversation with anybody there, but I think initiating those conversations.
right,
I have had a conversation with a local entity that's looking at kind of Nampa area for
okay,
multiple sports, but
sure,
at least they're reaching out and trying to get an idea.
yeah.
And my message is, if you build it,
Oh,
we will come,
no
they will
brainer, no
come.
brainer.
I know
Hmm.
there's a leap of faith there,
Yeah,
but like, even if, and I mentioned even, even if you do an indoor facility,
right.
that'll fill up your winter. Like we can,
Hmm.
box would not be hard to build here, I
Right.
don't think. I mean, you already have
Yeah.
some elements of it in CUNA and some elements of it in Middleton with speed
Hmm.
lacrosse. So there's stuff out there already at the youth level, and Bighorns are obviously
Yep.
doing it too. So there's opportunity. One side note. So I was in Rhode Island for work, kind of randomly last 2 Junes ago, and so I don't get out to the East Coast much. Obviously,
Yeah.
lacrosse is a different world out there. So I, strolled over to Brown University and just wanted to see their facility, right? And I think it was like a random Thursday or something in June, and so I checked it all out. Just thought it was so cool, and they had a dedicated, and it was still, I think, soccer and
Sure.
lacrosse facility
It can
mixed.
still be shared for sure.
But I sat around for a little bit and then I started to see girls' teams trickle in. I'm pretty sure they were middle school. And so then, basically, a, I believe his end of season tournament was happening, or maybe it was the
Hmm.
last week of a season or whatever. So townships were rolling in, girls were playing it, started playing games, and so I had nowhere to be, no life to have there,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
family's still out here. I was on my own. So I sat and watched, girls lacrosse in Rhode Island, having no rooting interest, just a random guy in the stands. Um, but I think that's testament, right? Like that that
Hmm.
field is being used year round, right?
Right.
Not just
Yeah.
for Brown. So if we could find something here to repurpose, or reuse or
Yeah. Or
build
just
build anew,
fill in the gaps
yeah,
when
exactly.
it's not, like those alternating sports like fall and spring,
Right.
soccer and lacrosse, or football and lacrosse. But, I agree. We can fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
And hockey's been doing it for generations, whether it's 5 a.m. ice or 10 p.m. ice.
Right.
The ice is open at this time.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys want ice, this is when you go. So
Right.
I know lacrosse families would also do that.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no, I have yet to hear a facility that does basketball, indoor soccer, or
Yeah.
volleyball say, "Oh, we don't have anybody coming." Like
Right.
everything's
Right.
full.
Right.
So
Exactly.
it's
You're
in
seeing most
demand.
facilities like that were offering multiple sports are now narrowing it down
Right.
to one sport
Exactly.
because that is filling
Because there's enough demand for it.
right. And lacrosse will be the same.
And then the logistics of setting up and changing,
Mm-hmm.
it's easier to pick one sport. So,
Yeah.
but not, with that being said, though, I know our parents would be happy to help change out anything to get their kids in there. So,
Yeah, for sure.
rotate the equipment or whatever,
Yeah.
the walls in or
Oh
something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So, okay. So we talked a lot about how to help roles to keeping the league strong.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we talked a little bit about participation numbers and that you're kind of hitting this critical mass,
Yeah.
right? That where we have more players. We
Mm-hmm.
just need some more helpers and coaches.
Right.
And we talked about how that you don't have to be the person for everything for those coaches.
Right.
And this is exciting because the numbers are a little goofy in the valley, depending on where and what you're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Some high school programs that had 60 players got 15, 16,
Right.
and others are, that were the 16 are now at the 30 or more. Pretty.
Yeah.
So it's been interesting to watch these, the where the players are coming from and where they're ending up.
Mm-hmm.
And so overall health, Treasure Valley
Sure.
youth lacrosse, good. I mean, where are we at? Medium, feeling better. It's growing.
Yeah, I'd say it's on the right trend.
Okay.
When we look at, so if we're looking just at geography,
Hmm.
and again, we try
Yep.
to build teams by as best we can by geography.
Yeah.
Um, and try to kind of have quasi townships. That said, like our 12U Meridian, for example, had Rocky, maybe a Meridian
Yeah.
kid and some Mountain View kids,
Hmm.
right? Because just the numbers need to map out,
Yeah.
right? So we do our best. I feel like there's growth, and then, you know, I think what you kind of alluded to is some of the school districts and the high schools that we're feeding into, some are landlocked, right? So
Yeah.
if there are not, you have some of the natural thing of if people are aging in
Yeah.
place, right? You're not
Exactly.
getting a bunch of kids in there.
Hmm.
So an established, like when I moved here, Timberline was new. They had a brand new, they had a lot of new kids coming in. They
Yeah.
built the lacrosse program, but their high school football program was pretty exciting
Yeah.
back then. It's kind of trended down. It sounds like it's coming back up. So it's always interesting just from a demographic standpoint.
Yeah.
Where I see where we're strongest, there's always lots of growth kind of in the Eagle Star area, Boise kind of by the foothills, a little bit south of the freeway, kind of Mountain View
Hmm.
area. But like, so my daughter's a senior at Bora, and I feel like my son, until like the past recent years, has been like the only one in TVYLL going to Bora on the boys' side.
Yeah.
So there's some landlocked areas. There's
Hmm.
some places that I would love to see us grow, and we've tried to do some efforts in those spots. From putting out yard signs, to targeting our social ads, to
Yeah.
trying to just be more
Yeah.
visible. Um, through Boise Parks and Rec and other programs, right? So, but if there's opportunities, I would think anybody on the board is open to kind of help building those in certain
Yeah.
communities, right? So I'd say we're on the right trend. There's always greater opportunities, right? I
Sure.
think there's limited time as a volunteer organization for us to do as much as we want to do. Like there are things that I'll wake up in the middle of the night and go, didn't get the brochure out, right? Those
Yeah,
types of things.
yeah.
Or should have had another social post, whatever it is, to try to, drum up
Mhm.
the registrations and that. But I think it's in the right spot. And I think the other thing, talking about connections earlier, we've got a good USA Lacrosse rep.
Yeah.
She's done a good job of getting, all of our leagues together for some regular meetings of
Mhm.
late, from officials to all the heads of the leagues, etc.
Yeah.
So I think there's just good dialogue happening
Great.
with those groups, and
Yeah.
I'm optimistic that'll continue to grow.
Yep. And I'm hoping that, having these talks that we're all, maybe
Yes.
people watch them, we'll see, but they kind of hear some of the same key words or key concerns, and we're not alone here.
Right.
Everybody's kind of working on the same stuff,
Hmm.
and it'd be how much more powerful it would be, how much more change we can drive if maybe we just got in the room a little more and or
Right.
recognize, hey, we all have the same problems,
Yeah.
or we have a solution to this problem, and we can help you.
Yeah.
And then really start getting this community to work together. Because the reason I ask is that Treasure Valley is an indicator species of this lacrosse ecosystem of sorts.
Yeah.
If it's healthy, we know our high school problems are going, or high school programs are going to be healthy.
Yeah.
And now with the growth of NNU
Yes.
swinging up, Boise State is becoming pretty spectacular in the area and winning their most recent conference and then going to nationals. There's going to be more opportunities here for these kids than ever
Hmm.
before,
Hmm.
and more lacrosse coming to this area
Right.
so they can see that
Yeah.
what it looks like and the growth. These young boys and girls can help be that for the future, right? And
Right.
drive. And so I think there's more here coming sooner.
Hmm.
And it quite frankly, it starts at this youth league,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think it's okay to take some credit for these players, right? And these opportunities,
Yeah.
but in a way that, you know, so excited for these players that when they get to whatever level they achieve, right?
Right.
It might be just sophomore year of high school or whatever, or
Yeah.
they tried it
And that's fine.
and they made some buddies.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And that's thank you for mentioning that, because
yeah.
that's another thing, when we think about success,
Hmm.
one of the greatest things. So when I coached there, there was one player who did not know, brand new, didn't know a soul on the team, right? Like,
Yeah.
not an easy entry point for lacrosse. So I love seeing him grow. I was stoked to see him get his first goal.
Yeah.
I cruise over. He's not on, a team that my son's currently on, but I'll cruise
Hmm.
over and watch. But hearing that, he's hanging out with, as now hanging out regularly with some of the buddies from that lacrosse team, like the relationships that we are building at that level. So my son started in fall. It was pretty, it was extremely low numbers post COVID 2021.
Hmm.
Um, we were supposed to have a team of seven. We had five at the first practice. Two never showed. One quit on the way via text on the way to the game, first game. So it was four of us kids,
Hmm.
fighting, and never won a game, um, but fought for each other. Didn't know each other to begin with. They're still friends today.
Yeah.
They all still play at different
That's great.
levels and different commitment levels, but they're buddies, right? So
Yeah.
that's another critical thing about this.
Yep.
They'll be playing each other in high school,
Yeah.
right? But they'll know each other and they'll be
Yep.
friends, and so that's
Yep.
that's a vital part
I
of this.
absolutely agree. And it's funny to, um, these players, and you watch them after games as they get older,
Hmm.
where I'm a highly competitive person,
Hmm.
and when it's game time, we'll be friends afterwards.
Yep,
And
I fully
and,
respect that.
and these players are the same way. And then
Hmm.
and now that they've played together for so long, it's not. I'm not saying the passion or the rivalries aren't there, but
Hmm.
they're different and they're better
Hmm.
because they've played so many different teams together throughout their lives that it's a healthy competition that builds now,
Yeah.
not just like north side, south side, rival
Yeah.
high schools, right? So they
Yeah.
play in a way that they challenge each other
Hmm.
athletically
Hmm.
and obviously with the mental game, but it's it's a better way of playing And it all starts with this getting these kids on these fields together.
Yeah,
And that happens throughout, like as these young boys and gals turn and maybe get a lucky chance to travel across the country. Same thing. You're going to meet players and other kids same age that you will make these relationships with,
totally.
and they become opportunities to where, hey, I'm at my college. How's it going for you? Man, I'm loving it here. You
Yeah.
know, or we'd really love to have you.
Hmm.
Coach wants to talk to you or something, right?
Yeah.
Just like in the world, real world, working world of making those professional relationships, that's what's happening here, whether we recognize it or not,
Yeah.
and developing those communication skills. And
Yeah, absolutely
yeah,
right. In addition to everything else that youth sports provides, right?
hmm
Like perseverance, grit,
oh,
teamwork, and figuring out how to be a good teammate.
right,
All of those things that are part of any youth sports experience, but
yeah,
critical for
absolutely.
lacrosse. Um,
Yeah,
Thank you for mentioning NNU too, and
hmm
obviously you had Drake on earlier with College of Idaho.
yeah,
So and BSU, some great local programs. You mentioned Jordan too,
yeah,
not to tease anything out there,
sure,
but and we're super fortunate as a league
hmm
to have some of the coaches. They have their kids playing with us, which is awesome. So it's just there's so much full circle here, and I mentioned kind of pitching different stories to media about lacrosse just on the side. There are so many great stories. I mean, there's that we have to that point. We've got, you know, college coaches with
yeah,
kids starting out in TVYLL. Couple of the NNU recruits who are coming in next year. They coached my son in CUNA for their
yeah,
box lacrosse program.
hmm
Um, you mentioned the table being one of the funnest places. Well, that's where you can hear
yeah,
some of the refs kind of comparing notes because they were in different programs and they played a different team. So they're kind of picking each other's brains, like
sure.
who's the best. And one of the best things I'm not going to disclose
Let's see
specific
if I can
names.
guess, maybe, but okay.
The Idaho Lacrosse Official Association,
Yeah,
great guys.
mhm,
There's an individual who manages kind of everything, and there's an individual, you can fill in the blanks pretty quickly,
sure.
who manages the junior officials. They're both refs for the high school,
Yeah,
right?
hmm
So we actually heard one of the dialogue, or overheard one of the dialogue between some high school kids who were playing in the playoffs the following week about who they'd prefer as a ref.
Oh, okay.
So
That's fun.
yeah, so I can tell you off camera
Oh, okay.
who the easier one
It's
who the
fun.
easier one is.
It's great that they're paying attention, and then
Hmm.
they're maybe we should have an award for the refs that, or maybe we do, and I don't know, but why not?
Yeah,
The
we
third
could.
third team,
They're doing a phenomenal job,
yeah,
right? At all levels.
right.
So
No, I think it's
it's not
great.
an easy
It's fun.
job.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Um, let's talk about barriers getting into the game. That's at all levels, right? So
Yeah.
when we started, uh, Lax ID offered like a package
Yes.
of equipment,
Yes.
and stick wasn't included if I remember right, but shoulder pads, some gloves, elbows, and then it was a lease package
Hmm.
that you could start out with. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if that's still a thing or
It,
what there is now, but
it's
help
back.
me out.
Yeah, it's back. So when you think of barriers,
Mhm.
a lot of times we think of just the cost.
Right.
Equipment is not cheap. Um, and we learned that firsthand when we started. Like we did
Yeah.
a trilax, and then season was gearing up within 2 weeks. We had nowhere, to really easy get
hmm
used equipment at that point, and so we invested
Yeah.
and hoped that our son would like it more than one season.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
absolutely a barrier that we're mindful of.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Lax ID, great partner. They have brought that back.
Awesome.
So there are
hmm
opportunities there, even on the girls' side, which is
hmm
less equipment, but
Yeah.
we're not going to say there's still contact,
Right.
and it's still vital to have that stick and
Yeah.
the goggles. The only thing I believe that they don't provide are, the cleats and, for boys a cup,
Yeah.
and mouth guard and that kind of stuff. So, but all the other equipment, I believe they offer. And yeah, you can purchase it at the end of the season or
Yep.
whenever. So that's vital. Sometimes we get USA Lacrosse grants, and I would say I would open it up so it's a good entry point to say
hmm
that we don't want to turn anybody away. So we have financial assistance or
Right.
scholarships. if anybody needs help, we just want kids to play. So let us know. Um, so Lax ID hopefully helps a lot with the barriers. You
Hmm.
can always find used equipment on Facebook Marketplace
Yep.
and Craigslist, etc. So, but I will always look towards awareness. Like, how do we get our stories out there? How do we get people, you know, it's like I've talked to a lot of parents who are like, "Oh, lacrosse looks cool. We
Yeah.
decided to try it, right?" Like, but you need to have that. We even looked at one point, and maybe we'll bring it back, like, renting out the blue and having an event there that day that's a lacrosse introduction,
Hmm.
and or bring in some of our local athletes to teach kids up and just
Yeah.
make it as visible as possible. So, you know, and I think there's a huge opportunity, and we need to probably figure out collectively how we tackle it when
Yeah.
lacrosse is in the Olympics in a few years, right? It's a different format. It's not, it's sixes. We haven't done a lot of that here, but we need to be able to take advantage when lacrosse has a spot like that.
Sure.
Let's
Absolutely.
figure out a
Yeah.
way to do that. So,
Yeah. And then, back to the barriers a little bit, it's also, yeah, it's easy to fill the teams in
mhm,
areas where there's a lot of interest.
right.
And then I reflect on we had an optimist team that was kind of like I wouldn't say leftover kids, but we got this group of kids that weren't with the other ones that were earmarked for their feeder high school. So we had some Meridian kids, we had some Rocky kids, some Mountain View kids. And I'll tell you what, those young men went to back-to-back championships.
Awesome.
Junior and senior year, they played for each other because I think there was a bond there of like,
Yeah.
no one wants us, well, we want us. Right?
Yeah.
And as coaches, we were able to help build that. But they talk about that today. That's been 10 years for them.
Yeah.
And uh, I guarantee you'll find a home for anybody that wants to play,
Hmm.
and you'll make it as easy for them to get to.
Yeah.
And once you get in there, I know parents are going to help.
Yes.
I've given rides. I know other parents help shuttle people. So
Hmm.
if that's a thing that is keeping you from getting there, we'll find a
Yeah.
way for your kid to get there.
Yeah.
So
Yes. Yeah, reach out. We
right,
can we can certainly,
yeah,
and when it gets to where teams are assigned, yeah, absolutely.
hmm,
I can't think of a team where there wasn't a little carpool happening or
yeah,
something to help out, and we all try to pitch in. But as a league too, like if you have concerns before you pull the trigger
yeah,
on a registration, reach out.
yeah.
Happy to have a
Just
talk.
ask.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and I mean, even trying to figure out the equipment, Lax
hmm,
ID or whatever, who knows what we've got
yeah,
in storage,
yeah,
fairly well what we've got, but there might be a loose glove that we have
sure.
that's an extra if somebody forgets one day or whatever.
I'd
So
and any parent that's any family that might have been like it's their second kid,
yeah,
third kid,
yeah,
there's a closet full of stuff, and it's
guarantee.
still
Here,
perfectly
I mean,
great.
look at all the pennies you've got.
We could get a team going here if we just dark
Yeah,
and white for sure.
I feel like we're trending this way with
Yeah,
one kid,
we're
but
we're,
man.
we're definitely going to need to wash some of this gear before we use it. But yeah, a prime example, right? We got gloves, we got helmets,
Yeah,
we got sticks. We'll make it happen.
yeah, yes,
And just let us know how we can help. Uh, let's see, Coach. Or sorry, uh,
I'll take it.
Chad. Absolutely. I've had a lot of coaches on lately. So,
Hmm.
what is a couple other things that maybe we haven't touched on yet that you'd really like to touch on?
Uh, we've covered a lot of
We
ground for
covered a lot.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I guess just the basics. So we do have a fall season that's a little bit
Yep.
more entry point.
Hmm.
There's development, but it is really kind of an entry point and being able to just continue your skills, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to keep everything on Saturday, so there's less of a commitment.
Hmm.
We're starting a little bit later, so it's kind of after or towards the tail end of some seasons. Spring is where we do go all out,
Yeah.
and that's where our full season is. And so we typically open registration for
Perfect.
fall, midsummer. We typically open registration for spring right around winter time, so
Okay.
late December, early January. So
Okay.
so
Yeah.
that's vital. We talked about fields. We could talk
Yeah.
about fields for forever.
Yep.
If you know of a place that would be open to
Hmm.
having us, certainly willing to
Yeah.
explore it. talked
Hmm.
about trying to figure out, something to. We feel like we give the Star and Eagle folks, a representation with where we're at there, and with Ann Morrison, we've got
Hmm.
kind of Boise covered, but south of the freeway, we've
Central
kind of trying to
Valley.
figure
Yeah.
out, yeah. And Nampa is another one that we need to look into too, right? There's just a lot of growth period happening there. And Valley View does a good job where
Yep.
they're at, but that's a lot of Nampa kids go to Valley View, or they don't do it. So I think
Yeah.
that's an untapped. We've had that conversation a lot lately.
Okay.
Where there are other communities where there's a lot of growth happening that we could tap into, and we just haven't had the coaches or infrastructure there. So I think there's opportunity there too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh, for fees, real quick, because we mentioned signing up.
sure.
The Tell me about the fee structure. Is it you have to pay everything at once? Is there a payment structure that can be
Um,
had, or
we typically do
mhm.
an initial registration fee.
Okay,
So and it's really broken down by kind of that core registration fee, and it varies by age group. So the
sure.
younger you are, the lower it
Hmm.
is. Um, we've got, if you need a jersey, and so it's springs, we typically kind of refresh jerseys and do that. So there's a jersey fee, and then there's that refundable volunteer fee. If you have the
Right.
opportunity and
Yep.
ability to volunteer, we'll refund you at the end of that season.
Yeah.
And then there's like a little minimal transaction fee on top of that.
Okay.
So, but we try to keep it low. You know, costs have increased over the
Yeah.
years, not for our registrations, but the
Yeah.
the things that factor in for us to be able to have a season, and we have not raised those rates for a while. So we're in a situation where we've got got money in the
Yeah.
bank account, so we just invest that back into keeping those registration fees the same as much as we
Yeah.
can, knowing the barriers of equipment. And just trying to make it as accessible as we
Sure.
can. So
Well, and at some point though, they're gonna have to tick up a little so you can keep doing the good that you're doing, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
uh,
If we get,
or get a sponsor to come in and
or
help
help get
square
the
that up,
facilities
or get
right,
the
like
facilities, right?
yeah,
Numbers, the power in numbers.
right,
Yeah.
right. So
Excellent.
yeah,
So, as we kind of wrap up, there's a couple more things I want to touch on, and then some
sure,
fun stuff.
yeah, absolutely.
Uh, Advice to the new families coming in. So let's
Hmm.
say they got the gear, they've gotten signed up,
Hmm.
right? And then they got the carpool figured out, whatever it is.
Right.
They're ready to commit,
Yeah.
and the kid's pumped.
Yeah.
What as a let's say as a board member
Hmm.
and as a parent, what's
Sure.
some new advice you'd give somebody?
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
We talked on volunteering, but
we
other than
did.
that,
Yeah. No, no. I mean, I think
yeah,
it's trying to understand the game, right? Taking some time to understand. You mentioned getting a stick
mhm,
and throwing the ball with your son. Same thing with your son or daughter, right? And I kind of sidebarred in my mind already. Like it is important to say that it is a very different game between girls and boys.
yeah,
And you'll see that just in the equipment, right? Like
hmm,
girls basically don't have any equipment besides the goggles and the stick, mouth guard and cleats, right? That does not mean that there's not contact.
oh, yes, I
And
agree
and
100%.
I think that, you could make a pretty easy argument that it is much tougher
Hmm.
for the girls with the shallower stick and everything like that, shallower pocket, you know, uh, be able to cradle, be able to move the ball around. Like
Yeah,
there's a lot of skill involved,
yep,
So when your kid may not be getting it from the jump, have patience, figure out wall ball, throw the ball with them,
yeah,
right? And just train yourself up. And you can always ask your coaches or one of us, like
hmm,
what we looked at. I try to send out an email to new parents
yeah,
with links to video and some background
right,
materials, but learn the game as best you can, right?
yeah,
We talked about volunteering. We talked about we're kind of respecting
hmm,
that, we're all volunteers here, and that the refs
okay,
actually do have a lot of skill. Um, you know, I advise trying to watch a game, a collegiate game, or better yet, high school, middle school game here locally, right? Like
yeah,
there's good lacrosse being played, and you can kind of see how it evolves
yep,
from where we are at TVYLL to these games where kids have developed those skills. They now know how to cradle and move,
yep,
right? And so
yeah,
they're feeding it, and then you can kind
mhm,
of see how the spacing enters in. Like there's the game really gets in your blood, the more that you spend time with it. And so where you can see different forms of it, right? You'll it'll start to click for you. It'll start to click
Mhm.
for your player more and more. So, invest that time as
Yeah.
much as you can. There's a place called Mountain Lacrosse Network where you can find streaming videos,
Yeah. I appreciate that.
of live
Yeah.
and recorded
Appreciate that. Yeah.
high school game.
But, back to this is something new that you can get into. Maybe you're not connecting with your kids, but and you're looking for something too, right?
Yeah,
And they're like, "Hey, I want to try this."
yeah,
This is a great new conversation starter
yeah,
throughout the day, right? Or
yeah,
trying to reconnect.
absolutely.
In a funny situation of just going to a game, I think we had just finished Treasure Valley practice. So
Hmm.
Carter and I, and Mountain View was having a game. So we ended up in that whatever that park is behind Mountain View.
Yeah.
So Meridian Kid ended up in the Mountain View team at one point.
Hmm.
So we go check it out. They're doing a 50-50 raffle there. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll buy $5 worth of tickets.
Yeah,
Well, we end up winning that thing. So on a random day after practice, going to watch the big kids play,
yeah,
I think we won $150.
yeah,
So it's funny what can happen
yeah,
just if you just show up and just take a minute and see what's
totally,
going on. And then
totally.
him seeing those older players play with with that level of intensity and grit, like we've talked about, but also a passion for their teammates,
Hmm.
was a game changer for him to see that as he grew
Yeah,
continuously, and then who to emulate. And some of those
totally.
guys are still local legends or famous to him
Yeah,
and to us. They help drive expectations and standards for what it should look like. So,
yeah,
yeah, going to see those bigger programs, whether it's the women's games or the boys' games and men's games, absolutely. And it's like
yeah,
one more reason that you get to spend time with your kid. So,
totally.
you know,
The other thing that we
hmm
see and try to promote too is different high schools have clinics. Um, Coach Drake had a clinic a couple years ago
yeah,
too with his players. Anything that we see, we will push out there, and those are great opportunities, even if it's, kids running around with just sticks and nothing else,
yeah,
right? Like take advantage of that. You don't need to feel guilty by going to a different high school where your kid's not going to
right.
play, right?
Yeah,
Like they're fine with that.
yep,
They all see the value of growing the game.
yep,
So,
absolutely. And then the better everybody is,
mhm.
the better your kid will get. I promise.
Yeah,
The better
absolutely.
competition they play, the better they will get, and the more fun it'll be as a parent. So,
Totally. That's even when we're building teams and we see like, okay, they've got
mhm,
a lot of younger or inexperienced kids. You know that you need to have those
yeah,
experienced kids to raise the bar for them, and
mhm.
they will accelerate at a higher level
Uh,
quicker.
just like any team,
Yeah,
college or
exactly.
whatever, right? Like, oh,
Exactly.
well, we've graduated a big senior class.
Yeah.
We have four seniors or whatever this year. They're going to step up, help out those freshmen,
Yep.
or freshman and sophomore classes. They're big. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of growth there. That's not just on, it doesn't have to be all about school
Right.
goals, right? That your kid can get,
Oh yeah.
even if it isn't like they're one of three skilled players versus the 15 or something like that.
Right.
So,
There's so many
yeah,
ways to contribute on that field, and
yeah,
that's the beauty of lacrosse too, is that you
hmm
don't have to be a certain size or, there's
yeah,
not a
no,
there's not a cookie cutter like,
no, yeah,
lacrosse player. You see Michael Sowers and Brennan O'Neill playing the same position, right?
yep,
Like completely different styles and body
yeah,
types and all that. So there's so many ways to contribute.
yeah. All right. Couple fun facts or random things.
Okay?
You made a note here for me. Lacrosse actually saved the life of one of your friends in high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me about that,
Yeah.
which is a
S-
crazy deal.
So, yeah, so way back when in
Hmm
the 90s when my friends were playing, so they had to go to a rival school, and it's funny because that rival school is Bellevue. My alma mater is Mercer Island. Those two are pretty much fighting for the championship every year,
Yeah.
back in Washington. But my friend, my friend actually broke his ribs from getting hit in practice. And so when they went to x-ray him, they actually found that he was stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma. So
Unbelievable.
they actually found it at the exact right spot. He was, a rare 17-year-old going through chemo, but I mean, it's kind of a weird story,
No.
in the sense that he
Yeah.
got injured
hmm
to be saved. And obviously there's contact in lacrosse, and I don't wish anybody to break their ribs.
Sure.
But yeah, it was a surprising kind of outcome. He made it through, and
That's great.
yeah. But yeah, it's kind of a random note about lacrosse.
Yeah.
Um,
And then I've been asking the other coaches and Greg,
hmm
we're competitive. We do this because we actually, we also like to see kids win and stuff.
yeah.
Any game day rituals? Now that your son's playing, you know, and then you were a coach, did you have any?
Um,
Yeah.
more of a support. No, I heard
Superstitions or something
yeah,
like
no,
that?
I listened to Logan's and I listened to Coach
Yeah.
Drake's. I feel like Logan was trying to get some sponsorships with like Lululemon and
Yeah.
dropping some brand
You know,
names.
hey, I hope it works out. I just wish I
Yeah,
was his
good.
size so it'd work out for both
Right,
of us.
exactly. Um, more kind of supportive. So my son is now 12, not as into it as anymore, but he used to be able to like recite every type of shark. So I have a bunch of shark themed socks that I usually wear
Okay.
whenever he's playing. So wearing some today because he had a game earlier. And but no real superstitions. Although I guess I'd probably follow like if there were
Hmm.
a certain thing that I was wearing and a day did not go well, I might recycle that, similar to what those guys said. So
Okay.
yeah,
I don't
but
blame you.
yeah,
Same thing. Whatever,
yes.
whatever it takes.
Trying to get there early, I guess, is the biggest thing. Like I
Right.
want to be able to
Yeah.
get there as early as possible so that I can
Hmm.
get everything done and not have to think about, you know, the things that are still left to do to get
It's
this season going or
it's
whatever.
it's amazing. Speaking of getting there early, I try to get to the game when I record about an hour early,
Yeah.
and in reality, it takes me about 20 minutes to set up.
Yeah.
But I get to talk to so many great people
hmm
while I'm setting up, or just ask questions like, "How's it going? What's up with this player? What's new?" Right?
Right.
Like, and I could chew up an hour easy
Yeah.
of just communicating, and still while working. But same thing when I would help set up fields or whatever, and I just want to make sure it's great, and
hmm
the there's nothing that's keeping these players from having a great time,
Right.
and you can never get there too soon.
Right.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
It could be games at 7. I want to get there at 2:30.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a little interesting being at Ann Morrison at like 6 in the morning, right? Because
Yeah.
you find things and there may be an individual or two that's, yeah,
Yeah.
strolling through the park.
Absolutely.
Interesting,
Okay.
but yeah,
Hey, more information. How can
sure.
people get a hold of you? We'll put it up on the
Sure.
screen and everything
The
when we do some of
website
that.
is TVYLLax.com. So that's where you can register. That's where you can kind of learn where we're
Mhm.
starting and all of that. At Treasure Valley Lacrosse is our Instagram handle. We've got a Facebook page, that kind of stuff. So we try to push, those are our main channels and probably the most updated information. We put season information up on the website, but the social is probably where we're putting
Okay.
stuff out. And again, similar to you, trying to push out
Yeah.
as much local lacrosse
Hmm.
stuff out there as possible so that people know what's
Yeah.
going on.
Okay.
Yeah,
Chad, thanks for your
it's
time.
been great.
Oh, I forgot. I got you a t-shirt.
Oh, nice.
Each guest
Awesome.
gets a t-shirt.
Sweet.
Number on the back corresponds to their guest
Oh,
number as far as episodes go. So
awesome.
you got number 5 on back. So single
Sweet.
digits.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'll brag to some people
Yeah.
who will be following me probably.
And with that,
Oh,
if you know anybody that would like to share their story, happy to have them. So
okay.
we're doing the best we can to get through this. There's a lot of great people out there. So
You're doing an awesome job.
it's a
And
pleasure.
I really, as a member of the lacrosse community, I appreciate all you
I
do.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thank
We'll
you.
talk soon.
Yeah.